Quick. Smash or pass, smash or pass.
Oh my god. Smash.
Smash. Smash.
Pass.
Smash! Hello, baddies, bimbos.
And Brad.
We are back with another episode of your 5th favourite satirical news show.
This week we're talking milk, body snatchers, and the ringing bells of doom.
But first, Australia might have its first job-sharing candidates running for a single seat in Parliament in the next federal election.
Lucy Bradlow and Bronwyn Bock, longtime friends from Melbourne, officially launched their campaign last week, announcing their joint candidacy as independent representatives for the electorate of Higgins in 2025.
The duo believes sharing the role will lead to better outcomes for the constituents of Higgins and serve as a model for future candidates.
So on that note, we've commissioned a season of Modern Cabinet. Here's a sneak peek.
Hey hon, can I talk to you for a second? I've got a little idea. So this is going really great, I think. Like, sharing a seat with you has just been a joy.
Where is this going? She has been acting weird recently.
I just think when we started this whole thing, everyone said that 2 would be a crowd. But then, you know, we got elected and it's been going so great, but also it's not been easy.
Well, they said the first year would be the hardest.
Exactly. So I was thinking, just to keep the spark for the seat of Higgins alive, I don't know, should we make this duo a trio?
As in, bring in a third? A throuple?
I mean, only if you're comfortable. I think if 2 can job share, then why not 3? But look, we could just put ourselves out there, see if we get any bites.
I mean, did you already have your mind on someone?
No.
Is it that bitch Michelle Raja?
No, I would never.
Okay. So you just want to open this seat up?
I don't know, I think I want to do some things that maybe you're not quite down for. I don't want to pressure you.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to lie. I think I'd be lying if I say that it hadn't crossed my mind before, but I think it'd be hard, you know, seeing you with someone else.
No, it wouldn't be like that.
I think I'd get jealous.
No, you would always come first.
Okay. Well, if this is something that you really want to do, we can make a start. I don't know, download Hinge or something.
Oh, well, I've actually done it already. And I've got a profile ready, so there's nothing really to do. Let's just have a look. Oh, our first match here. Do you know a Lydia Thorpe?
They say that 3 is better than 2.
Disgusting. They really shouldn't let freaks like that on TV.
Oh, I don't know, one of those heads was speaking a lot of sense.
Maybe that double-doomed girl boss would do better than PM Anthony Albanese in corralling South African softcock Elon Musk to clean up the digital dumpster fire that is Twitter.
Our own blue-blooded gore gazer Brian Luber Johnston brings us more.
All right, crunks, gather around. We have got some juicy bits to talk about. So, Australia's e-safety commissioner thinks they can just waltz in and tell us what to do. Ha! Think again. They want to scrub the streets clean of the Bishop Marmari Manuel stabbing footage, calling it to graphic. But let me tell you something, that's the good stuff. It's like the front row seat to the chaos. And you know what? I would have loved blood pissing out of him. That's just tasty. And who is fighting for this push of censorship? None other than our god, Elon Musk, calling out the commissioner like an Australian censorship commissioner. Classic. Now, X, which Musk sells called Twitter, is fighting the good fight too. They will take down some of the gore, but they won't give it up without a fight. They know what keeps us coming back for more. Videos like this encourage my friend in the video to performing these amazing performances and be the X-star. And as for the law, well, let's just say that when the authorities start throwing around term, the terrorist act, things get interesting. But hey, who doesn't love a little danger, am I right? So buckle up fellas, the ride's just getting started.
For more deeply horrifying and unsettling content, follow the struggle on Twitter. I will never call it X.
More on the topic of deeply horrifying and unsettling content, the picturesque town of Morwell is back in the news after Melbourne's infamous mushroom lady vowed to extend her prison sentence just to stay close to home.
Emma has more.
Welcome to Morwell, the town so powerful you'd stay in prison an extra 15 months just to hold your murder trial here. Nice one, AREN. Morwell has it all. A beautiful centenary rose garden and war memorial for the history buffs, an art gallery for the art lovers, and frequent illegal activity for the true crime junkies. The town has earned many accolades. The latest for having the highest crime and unemployment rate in regional Victoria. What a high achiever! Things are always on the up in Morwell, just like the 15.6% increase in criminal incidents over the last year. The dining experience in Morwell is like no other. Try our variety of cuisines. We've got Vietnamese, Italian, and you must try the mushroom beef Wellington. It's to die for. So visit Morwell today. There's so much room to grow.
Makes me hungry for some good old-fashioned beef Wellington.
I'm starving. Starving for some ads. Eat up, kids. Welcome back.
You know, that fella selling those disability permit covers must be making a killing. I've got to get me one of those.
You'll need to actually be disabled first.
All in good time.
From good time to a couple of crooks who are out of time, the cost of living crisis sweeping the global north is alive and well in leafy Massachusetts, where one university employee has got himself into some hot water from some hot deals.
North American correspondent Chadbert Briss has more.
Just out of curiosity, would you know anyone in the market for a fully embalmed brain or heart? This was the words of the Facebook post that tipped investigators off to what is being described as a body part black market. Yeah! Hey, my name's Chadbert Briss. I'm reporting from Harvard University on what's being described as the goriest story of the year. Yeah! 55-year-old Cedric Lodge was hired as the head mortician for the Harvard University morgue way back in 1995. Yeah, what is he, a dinosaur? Investigators allege that from 2018 to 2021, Cedric and his total babe wife Denise made over $37,000 selling and stealing body parts from the anatomical gift program Mr. Lodge managed. Yeah, I wish my job at Pizza Hut paid that much. District Attorney Sean M. McCormack described how one man, Jeremy Polly, paid over $10,000 for an ear, an arm, lungs, livers, skulls, hands, fetuses, skin, a human head, a pair of wieners, and some boobs. Yeah. Both Cedric and Denise have pleaded guilty to charges of interstate transport of stolen goods, but the real crime here, the continued mistreatment of tertiary education workers around the world. Yeah.
Maybe if Cedric Lodge had had access to things like
better job security, an hours-linked cap on academic workloads, the right to work from home, and a 4.5% pay increase, instead of having access to spare fingies and wieners, then maybe he wouldn't have to resort to black market booby trading. Yeah. But what do I know? I'm just a humble Bostonian janitor with dreams of one day becoming a math super genius. Back to you, Melora.
Moving on from human tits to cow tits, the dairy industry is facing peak milk as the number of dairy cows in Australia is decreasing and imports of milk are on the rise.
Don't you think they're milking this a bit?
Probably.
A local Dandenong farmer has called a press conference to address just this. We apologise for the use of subtitles. Our interns have transcribed it as best they can.
We cross now to the farmer who puts the aggro in agriculture, Daryl Thistlethumper.
So I'm in suits. Ever since deregulating the industry allowed for bloody Kiwis to import milk and undercut the industry. Stop them fucking boats from overseas. What do you reckon?
But surely there are some environmental benefits to milk alternatives.
Now you soy boys drunken at crap think you're saving a turtle when you're just killing a farmer and his livelihood. Your bloody nut juice is all fucking fake anyway.
How do farmers feel about the current dairy industry?
Oh, I was sucker waking at the crack of dawn and pulling at tits twice a day for fuck all.
What's the next step the Albanese government needs to take here?
Needs to take. I'll tell you what them lot need to take. All of them need to take one in the heifers and shove them up their arse. Bastards who sit in a big smoke contributing nothing to me want to tell me I can't have dairy in my cuppa at Smoko? Fuck off! Me daddy and his before him made a living plundering the Murray-Darling. And let me tell you something else, a nudge is a nudge, I only chopped it down because he couldn't say the group. What's he moaning about?
From one unintelligible backroad bumpkin to some unintelligible backroad bumpkins.
The UK government is currently in talks of banning the sale of cigarettes to anyone under the age of 15 in the hopes of raising a new smoke-free generation.
The proposed health kick is reminiscent of the UK's noughties obesity crisis and the incredible reality TV that came with it.
I'm in Telford, Shropshire, and I'm about to meet one of the fattest families I've met in my life. I'm here in the Peak District and about to meet two right massive fatty siblings who are at the peak of their porkiness. I'm going to be meeting some right beach blubber bellies. Mr. and Mrs. Massive Fatty.
While our body issues may be deeply ingrained, we thought why not once again harness the power of shame and embarrassment in the name of public health.
Without further ado, The Struggle presents Britain's biggest backy bongos. Welcome back to Britain's biggest backy bongos.
Today we're in Devon, trawling the streets for some of the grossest smokers we can find.
I have a sneaking suspicion we might be close to some of Britain's biggest ashtrays. Let's take a look.
Hey, you smelly little boy, you look to be about 15 years old. Bet you're just jonesing for one of these smelly, stinky little fags, aren't you? I bet you are.
No, I'm more of a vapor myself.
Don't care, because come this time next year, the UK government could be banning fags, vapes, snuffs, everything. What do you think of that, you smelly man?
Clearly those boffins in Westminster haven't met a single teenager in their pompous lives. Most anyone who's most everyone under the age of 18 is smoking those battery-tastic vapes.
Luckily, we've still managed to track down one of the few smoking teens left in the UK. Hey, yucko, these are your lungs right now. All this juice just from smoking. What do you have to say for yourself?
Literally, don't even begin. The emphysema is already clouding your simple mind. Similar legislation was shut down in Aotearoa last year, leaving lots of young cancer for young people.
Well, total genius ITV hosts like ourselves could never even fathom inhaling that sort of chimney chuff into our lungs.
The idiot youth of the Commonwealth remain unperturbed in their quest for that yucky buzz.
So take a look around. What do you see?
A cemetery.
Wrong! No, this is your future if you don't give up that yucky fag habit, you smelly little man.
This has been a public health announcement for the NHS for Channel 31, Melbourne and Geelong. Again, we'd like to thank the National Health Service of the United Kingdom for their unwavering support over the course of this season.
Unfortunately, those Brits' teeth will probably still be janked. No amount of cigarette bans will help that.
Anyway, as someone who likes deranged, rat-faced men, getting pregnant from one is probably my worst nightmare. But luckily, for actual rats, they will no longer have to face this dilemma.
New York City is proposing a more humane way of controlling the rat population, rather than the usual method of poison or accidentally kicking one on the subway. The idea is to give rats birth control as a way to reduce the population amongst New York's second most famous rodent.
The rat czar of New York City, Kathleen Catrati, is suggesting that these rat men and women receive more reproductive care than any woman in Idaho.
All that we can say is, slay girls. Get that rat dick with no threat of pregnancy. Those rat bastards wouldn't have paid child support anyways.
And on that note, let's head to some ads so we can afford real human birth control. Personally, I love ads.
Yeah, but our audience probably doesn't.
Well, this isn't about them. This is about us.
Moving on from something you didn't want to see to something none of us want to. Donald Trump's criminal trial has led to the man who proves that orange is indeed the new orange.
The New York-based trial for Trump's alleged election fraud is underway, and honestly, we're just kind of over it at this point.
Yeah, like 4 years ago, we'd have dedicated a whole episode to the downfall of democracy. But now we've just reached a point where we're not even assigning correspondence to this. It's just us telling you about it.
The way out of all things Trump could have gone down for, a bit of unpaid hush money about him cheating on his wife is the one? Tell us something we didn't know.
The way that's the single most relatable aspect to Trump? Well, that and the fact that his wife and family just apparently hate him.
Yep, much like my parents watching this show, Trump's family do not seem very supportive of what's happening. Hey Mark and Suzanne.
While Trump's front and centre in court, violating gag orders and farting up a Stormy Daniels, his family is nowhere to be seen.
Even Ivan Milat had more familial support on trial. His family tried to provide alibis for him. Our dear Donald, Melania, Ivanka and the other less important Trumps haven't even stepped foot inside the court.
While the Trump empire goes down in flames for the 5th time this decade, we're just over here chilling. Democracy is dead in a ditch, elections are fake, and we're tired.
And let this be a lesson to all of us aspiring journalists. If you're going to allegedly defraud elections in the most powerful country on earth, do it for someone who's not an absolute idiot.
And ugly.
Let's leave that little orange disaster in the past and hear from super cool off-grid girl boss and unregistered smell offender, Ms. Crystal X. Ballshanker.
Good evening, my little theorists, my little geniuses. It is Crystal Ballshanker here. I hope you are all still keeping your eyes open to the sick people in power. I wanted to make an urgent public service announcement that the World Health Organization, World Sicko Organization, has announced a warning that the bird flu could potentially start spreading through human contact. Allegedly, it has started to spread through other animals than birds. I wanted to emphasize 2 points. Firstly, birds are government-created surveillance machines. Notice how they are everywhere, except here, because they know I'm talking about them. They're planted to watch your every move. Secondly, the government is using this supposed avian influenza to create another plandemic to influence these sheeple into following their dictatorship. Run from these so-called birds. BIRD stands for Biological Instruments Rendering Deception and Surveillance. Don't listen to the corrupt World Health Organization. Thank you, my little rebels. Stay safe and stay aware. Don't let these tyrants control you. Ballshanker out.
Crystal Ballshanker with that eye-opening report there.
As Australia's geriatric population continues to grow, many of our surviving queer populace find themselves forced back into the proverbial closet by lacking social standards of our old people's homes.
To bring us up to walking frame speed on this heart-wrenching story, for the last time this season we're joined by her, Girls, Gays and Theys correspondent Miss GGT, OAM.
Hey Gabies, I'm coming to you from the gay ghetto of Melbourne, Smith Street, Fitzroy. Yeah! Something us queers don't really think about often is, what will we be doing in 50 years' time? Where will we be? In who will we be? Some would say an aged care facility. However, recently as more loud and proud gays and theys have started to turn wrinkly, lose their libidos and make the move into knitting, reports of closet re-entries from old queers are on the rise. Yeah! Aww. Thus, in Melbourne, we have seen a mass migration from these homes to, well, right here on Smith Street. And I'm here to show you around. Here, we have Circuit Bar, a quaint little cottage vibe. Rocking chairs adorn every corner, as well as not one, but 2 bondage rooms. Plus the toilets smell great. Why else does everyone go in there to sniff things? This one's got a longer waiting list than AREN though. With an abundance of ancient queer residents every week, one has to ask, what's the attraction? Well, other than the Viagra pill that comes free with every 3rd drink, it's gotta be the young bartenders. But you didn't hear that from me. While this facility may be lacking the on-call care and sponge baths common to many others, the current lack of queer-friendly centres in metropolitan Melbourne mean that, for now at least, Circuit remains the aged care home of choice for every shade of grey hair in the rainbow.
Well, that was certainly something.
Something awesome!
Next, something else.
Hello, I'm Jay here with you with some good sports report and the first story up. The Olyroos, Australia's metal dudes team, had their dreams of competing in the Paris Olympics later this year smashed faster than you can say soccer. They'll have to watch from their living rooms. just like the rest of us, which is really good fun. Just quietly, our young men's team need to take a good hard look at themselves, as they have now failed to qualify for the XXX successive tournaments. Maybe these men need to stick in the gender studies courses where they belong. Fruitless attempts at pursuing women's sport like soccer by men need to be treated like embarrassing the virtue signaling attempts they are. Face it, fellas, when you can't stick it in the top beans, stick to staying at home and taking out the bins where you belong. But as the Oileros ponder what went wrong, the Matildas are gearing up for some new trouble in old Europe. I wished the most of Australia that she's called him a, who knows, maybe they will be kind enough to share their medals along with a selection of fine French Pinot. So come on boys, let's get realistic, go and frame a house while the real athletes show you how it's done. And if you want to be really good at soccer, start watching the women.
Take that, boys. Girls rule and you guys drool.
From one great all-female team to another, let's talk the NWBA.
NWBA.
National Wet Barista Association.
Welcome the wet baristas and their liberal bushes.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it. Blunts, hose and a 40 ounce, that's all a player like me needs to keep it 100 in the streets. Ho.
Okay, let's cut to the point. Why are you here today?
Well, there's been a shift in the film industry. Those boring, tedious superhero films are out.
And we are now in the era of the formulated biopic.
Wait, what?
Are you suggesting that biopics about real people and their lives all have the same story arc?
Yep. Just look at the Freddie Mercury one, or Elton John's, Amy Winehouse's. In fact, I'm ready to place $500 on the Bob Dylan one.
They all start out with some vaguely traumatic childhood and then cut to the very beginning of their rise to fame.
And before you know it, they fully adjusted to the fame with more booze than blood in their bodies and noses full of coke.
Then the film quickly wraps up with rehab and redemption, or them carking it.
Well, your very insensitive take on biopic genre has been insightful, but why are you sitting at this desk today?
We're releasing our own biopic with its own soundtrack.
As two very famous and rich musicians, we thought it was time.
Jesus Christ.
Do you two have any life experience that would be interesting to watch?
Molly, don't you worry about that. I know a guy.
And I have a little baggie of fine china that we're gonna get cracking onto after this, so there'll definitely be some content for the film.
But for now, here's the hit single from our soundtrack,
I Want a Biopic.
We sang on Channel 31. We felt nothing but love from everyone. But a biopic is the new success to be. Our lives must be more film worthy. We lived out in cities. We lived out in bars. We lived for the night, but it's all we got. We lived for the night, but it all got too much. Time we spent down money
plot point.
Can you, overdose?
No. Why don't you do it?
Nah, I'm not that dedicated.
Well, I'll do it if you do it.
Okay.